There's a recent update to your DNA portal Native American origins.
Native American Origins Advanced Autosomal Native American Ancestry Analysis. This test is based on a totally new and unique admixture algorithm. It is exclusively for people with some Native American ancestry. It analyses autosomal indigenous ancestry from North, Central, South America, and the Caribbean. This test will be updated over time as new population samples become available. Please be aware before unlocking this test that it is specifically for people with some Native American ancestry. It is not intended as a general ancestry test. This test includes many Native American samples, but if you are not Native American, or if you don't have some partial Native American ancestry, you will receive a basic continental result, e.g., Eurasian, African, etc. This test utilizes the most up-to-date research, utilizing a comprehensive data set of tribal-specific Native American samples. Also included are basic regional results from Europe, Africa, Asia, and Oceania. The peopling of the Americas is a controversial subject that will continue to evolve as new discoveries are made. Here is an outline of some of the current theories. We will adjust this text as new information is made available. There were waves of human migration from the Bering Sea area into the land now known as the Americas. The source group may have existed as a founding population for 10,000 to 20,000 years in Beringia. South America has indigenous people whose Y-DNA haplogroup indicates that they have been isolated since the first wave of migration. In contrast, the Na-Dene and Inuit groups in Alaska possess the Q-YT-DNA haplogroup, as well as showing diverse mitochondrial DNA and adenine and thymine DNA from the rest of the Americas. This suggests a later settlement of the far north of America and Greenland. In 2013, a study of the DNA found in the 24,000-year-old remains of a young boy from the archaeological Maltaburet culture demonstrated that up to 1/3 of Native American ancestry was derived from Western Eurasians. These Western Eurasians seem to have had a more northeasterly distribution 24,000 years ago than previously thought. The authors wrote, "We estimate that 14 to 38% of Native American ancestry may originate through gene flow from this ancient population. Our findings are significant at two levels. First, it shows that Upper Paleolithic Siberians came from a cosmopolitan population of early modern humans that spread out of Africa to Europe and Central and South Asia. Second, Paleo-Indian skeletons, like Buell woman, with phenotypic traits atypical of modern. They indigenous Americans can be explained as having a direct historical connection to Upper Paleolithic Siberia. A route through Beringia is seen as more likely than the Solutrean hypothesis." Kashani states, "The similarities in ages and geographical distributions for C4C and the previously analyzed X2 lineage provide support to the scenario of a dual origin for Paleo-Indians. Taking into account that C4C is deeply rooted in the Asian portion of the mtDNA phylogeny and is indubitably of Asian origin. The finding that C4C and X2 are characterized by parallel genetic histories definitively dismisses the controversial hypothesis of an Atlantic glacial entry route into North America. Genetic analyses of HLA-I and HLA-2 genes as well as HLA-A-B and ERB1 gene frequencies links the Ainu people in northern Japan and southeastern Russia to some indigenous peoples of the Americas, especially to populations on the Pacific Northwest coast, such as Tlingit. The scientists suggest that the main ancestor of the Ainu and of some indigenous groups can be traced back to Paleolithic groups in southern Siberia. A 2016 study found that indigenous peoples of the Americas and Polynesians most likely came into contact around 1200. DNA reveals Native American presence in Polynesia centuries before Europeans arrived. Native Americans have genetic links to Siberian populations, the Ket, Selkup, Chukchi, and Korayak peoples' common mtDNA haplogroups A, B, C, and D are shared among East Asian and Native American populations. The Altai-Baikal region of southern Siberia is where the highest frequency of these haplogroups occur. There are also subclades of C and D found among the Mongolian, Amur, Japanese, Korean, and Ainu populations. Maps of Native American languages: Eskimo Aleuti, Na-Dene, Aljikwakashan, Panudian, Aztec Taino, Mistecatomi, Maya Kaish, Chibcha, Arawak, Carib, Hokansuan Hokan, Yuki, Karasan, Tunica, Iroquoian Caddo, Suan Muskogean. Andean, Quechua, Paleo-American, Tupi-Guarani, Arawak, Carib, Chibcha. Main test run. This mathematical setting divides your genome into 100 fragments, with each fragment representing 1% of your genome. This enables the capture and identification of even the most distant origins. Population and value: West African 89%, East African 3%, South African Bantu 2%, Southwest Mediterranean 2%, Central Mediterranean 1%, Chukotko-Kamchatkan 1%, North African 1%, Pygmy 1%. Chukotko-Kamchatkan speakers show the closest affinity to Paleo-Eskimos among modern populations, with a split from other present-day Siberian populations happening circa 4300 BC, and from Sakik estimated circa 2400 BC. The split with Eskimo Aleut is estimated to have occurred circa 2900 BC, due to their admixture with a group related to northern Athabascans. Native American origins genome-wide. Population and value: West African 87.5%, Pygmy 4.5%, Volga-Ural 2.75%, Northwestern European 2.5%, South Central Asian 2%, East African 0.75%. South Asia is the southern region of Asia, which is defined in both geographical and ethnocultural terms. The region consists of the countries of Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. Topographically, it is dominated by the Indian Plate and defined largely by the Indian Ocean on the south, and the Himalayas, Karakoram, and Pamir Mountains on the north. The Amu Darya, which rises north of the Hindu Kush, forms part of the northwestern border. On land, clockwise, South Asia is bounded by Western Asia, Central Asia, East Asia, and Southeast Asia. Central Asia is a subregion of Asia that stretches from the Caspian Sea in the west to China and Mongolia in the east, and from Afghanistan and Iran in the south to Russia in the north. The region consists of the former Soviet republics of Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. Languages: Russian, Karakalpak, Kazakh, Kyrgyz, Tajik, Turkmen, Uzbek, and others. Idel-Ural, literally Volga-Ural, is a historical region in Eastern Europe, in what is today Russia. The name literally means Volga-Urals in the Tatar language. The frequently used Russian variant is Volga-Uralai. The term Idel-Ural is often used to designate 6 republics of Russia of this region: Bashkortostan, Chuvashia, Mari El, Mordovia, Tatarstan, and Udmurtia, especially in Tatar language literature or in the context of minority languages. Native American origins ancient. Population and value. Sub-Saharan African 93.5%. Ancient South Central Asian 3%. Insular Celtic 3%. Ancient Paleo-Amazonian 0.5%. Amazonia is a land of many rivers, which eventually join to form the mainstream Amazon, carrying to the sea the rains, and silt, which feed the greatest forest in the world. Most of Amazonia is in Brazil, but an extensive network of tributaries flow into it from the neighboring countries of Peru, Bolivia, Colombia, Venezuela, and Ecuador, all of which share the environment and culture of the South American tropical lowlands. The vast reaches of the Amazonian rainforest have been lived in and shaped by human hands for thousands of years. Long before Europeans arrived in the Americas, this deep history of human interaction with river and forest gave rise to enduring cultural traditions and sophisticated art styles. Today, people's lives are closely intertwined with the plants and animals of the forest for their practical value as well as their symbolic significance. Native Amazonians, or Amerindians, belong to a multitude of different ethnic groups with their own languages and cultures, but also sharing a common cultural tradition. Their story can be told in many ways through oral and written histories, objects, and images. They often speak of the Amazon as a serpent, and the plan of the exhibition is based on this idea of a serpentine river which wends its way through the Amazonian past and present.
So there you have it. Those are the updates for your DNA portal, the Native American portion. They told me, because I purchased the unlocked version from before, that I was eligible for this most recent update. So what do you guys think? I know it's a tiny trace of Native American ancestry, but as we've discussed in previous videos, the ancestry is very ancient. And as we have seen again, Russia shows back up. And we know how Russia and the Beringa people, and now as you see, the Amazonian people kind of factor into the whole equation. So again, let me know what you think. Make sure to leave a comment below. Make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed. Make sure to like this video. And if you can, please share it with others. Once again, this is the Kinfolk Chat channel with Swarthy Daisy. I appreciate your continued support. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.